This is not a bad reading though, which is really good. Underlying energy is the Ace of Wands. Underneath that is the Ace of Swords. So this is a new beginning. This is action and this is mindset. I like that. But underneath that is stress. Look at that. What is going on? Why is there stress? What are you feeling? But yeah. Whoa. Somebody is not saying what they need to say, because the King of Cups don't say nothing really. Like, he's in his feelings. He can be super romantic and he can't communicate, but when there's something crossing him, that's the Seven of Swords. There's a risk that needs to be taken here, jumping outside that comfort zone, but there's a lot of avoidance of it. Somebody may be stifling their emotions here. Maybe they know what they love and they're just trying to deny who they love, because honestly it requires them to take a risk to go ahead and, you know, make it happen. Okay, it's very interesting. But yeah, this is talking about a new beginning, a very passionate new beginning, and it has to do with what what someone wants, or what someone feels. And someone feels intense stuff. The King of Cups is quite the master of emotions. He can control how he feels at any moment, at any given time. But the Seven of Swords is letting us know that there is something that it's avoided as well regarding how he feels, or something, maybe avoidance of action. Right? There's somebody here that's not telling you the truth, perhaps, about how they feel as well. They're not trying to be mean about lying, perhaps because they don't want to be seen as vulnerable or weak, because the King of Cups can be perceived as a weak knight, or a vulnerable king, but he's not weak. As a matter of fact, it makes him very strong, but his heart's on his sleeve like that. It makes him very strong to be vulnerable the way he is. You know? So it's like the Seven of Swords, excuse me, is like somebody's just like, somebody's not necessarily hiding. Well, somebody's not saying something. Somebody's not being open about their emotions, or they're not saying something about their emotions. They're trying to avoid how they feel altogether. It could be that it could be you guys that could be doing this, but I don't know. I don't think that's the case. Some of you guys are trying to be clever about how you feel, trying to, you know, deliver your message in a very clever way, because Seven of Swords can be talking about being clever, but it's not being noticed or anything. Like, it's just not being seen. It looks like more of like hiding out more than trying to be clever. But the King of Cups knows what he wants, and for some of y'all, it could be that this is just some sort of avoidance here that's ultimately going on. Okay, why is the Seven of Swords coming up? Why is it crossing the King of Cups? Why is the Seven of Swords crossing the King of Cups? The Queen of Cups. You guys are somebody is avoiding the Queen of Cups. This King of Cups is in love with this person, but they're avoiding them. Obviously because of this situation here in the future, in the outcome. Oh no. King of Cups knows what he wants, is deeply in love, but in denial because it has to do with the Queen of Cups. The person that he's in, you know, that's obviously a great distance away, because you got the world here. And they feel some way about them, but they think they may have lied to the Queen of Cups. Now I don't even go there with the lying stuff, because I don't see no Queen of Swords. I don't see no High Priestess of the Moon, because that would have been lies and secrets and deception and stuff like that. You know, and the Seven of Swords itself can mean deception in a way, or denial. Somebody is denying themselves the love that they want because of the Queen. Well, not because of the Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups. They are just too madly in love. Maybe they're just, the feelings get too intense. Because I'm trying to figure out why the hell this person would even want to avoid their lover, their loved one, the person that matches their suit. Like, what's going on? Now in the past, you have the world, excuse me. So there has been a successful completion, or completing of a cycle here. Something ended in a very positive sense. Now for some of y'all, this is, you know, maybe it may not have felt the greatest, but it has its rewards to it. The world, excuse me, will always have its reward to it. Okay? And I feel like something may have completed its cycle. But then you have in the present here the Ten of Pentacles. So we have another completion, another 10. And this is also talking about commitment. This is talking about stability, support, security, legacy, you know, marriage, family, generations. You know, this is a really good card. Some of you guys may be focusing a lot on the family, or focusing a lot on your family life at the moment, or building a legacy altogether. Ten of Pentacles means that you have in some way, have that, you have this, right? But then you go back to work in the future. Just like, like you just like, yeah, okay, so I have this already, but maybe there's a little bit more stuff I need to do. The focus shifts right back to more practical thinking. So it's obvious that there is some sort of avoidance here about regarding this person that you are in love with. Perhaps you don't know if you feel like, I don't know, maybe you want to build like a fortress for this person or something like that, but you do realize that you have to say how you feel in order for them to want to even accept you in their life, right? Like, you can't lavish them with goodies and then expect them to want to be with you. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Capricorn, but be mindful that if that is what you're doing, you have to come out of their shell and say what you need to say regarding how you feel, because it's not going to matter. Because your goal and ambition is the Page of Pentacles. That's great and all, offering somebody long-term commitment, stability, support, and security, even being, showing that you're a provider and showing that, that beautiful coin. But it doesn't mean anything if the person here is just in their feels. If the Queen of Cups is somebody, is how you feel about somebody, then you're in love with them for who they are. You're not in love with them for what they can give you. You're connected to them emotionally, and that means that person in turn is possibly in the same boat. They are connected to you emotionally. They're not connected to the physical aspects of the world. They're not connected to these earthly desires that that show stability in the physical world. It's a spiritual connection between the King and Queen of Cups. And that's the thing. There may be a denial about the fact that there is a spiritual connection. And no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you do, it's not going to feel like it's going to be enough, because this person exceeds physical matter. Like, this person's connection with you is intense, and it feels that way. It feels that way. The Page of Pentacles doesn't necessarily have to mean that you lavish someone with gifts either. It could just also indicate that you offer somebody long-term commitment, or they offer you long-term commitment, an offer of something that can actually last a long time. And I feel like that's the potential for this relationship too. I think you guys can get there, but you're not going to be able to do that if you focus on your practical matter. You're not going to be able to figure that out, or you're not going to be able to make anything of the relationship if it's constantly avoided and focused on dough making and legacy creating. Like, you have your career and everything that you got to deal with. That's cool. That's fine. But the moment you start avoiding it or using your career and your work as a reasons to escape, or to escape your emotions and how you feel, it's just not going to go anywhere. And I feel like that's the thing with the Ace of Wands. It's like, the time is coming where you're going to want to say something to this person. I don't know if I'm tapping on my necklace is tapping on something, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you want to take a risk with this person. You're feeling really, really, really close to committing to this person right now. But it's hard to do, because it puts you in a very vulnerable state. This person may be like conjunct your 7th house, which is Cancer. So there may be somebody that's very Cancerian around you, right? Or this could be that there's a Scorpio or Pisces around you. But all in all, if they're not any of those signs, this is someone you're greatly in love with, that you have a spiritual connection with, that no matter what you do, it's really hard to overcome. Because the King of Cups is the master of feeling. So he will feel to the end of his days. You know what I mean? Now, the outcome is external energy is the 3 of Pentacles. Well, you guys are planning for the future with a group. You're in a very stable spot already, and now you're looking to expand that. You're looking for the additional pieces, and you know that what's missing is a partner. Now, the reason why I said partner is because this could be a male or a female that you're attracted to, or that you're connected to, or you feel that that you want an ideal lover, an ideal person that's in your life, that you want to be in your life. You're avoiding the relationship aspect of it, because obviously it can be very complicated, and you fall pretty hard, Capricorns. It's just true. We all do that. You probably have the hardest out of all of us, but hey, I'm not judging. It's really, really sweet how hard you fall in love. And really, really, it's very difficult for you to find love because of that. Because you know when you are in love with somebody, you mean it. You love through possession. It's very scorpionic how you guys fall in love with people. But hey, it is what it is. It doesn't mean that you can't find love. It doesn't mean that love isn't deserving of you or someone else isn't deserving of your love. But it looks like with the Three of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles is that you are looking to the future and are seeing the potential future for expansion, perhaps with more than one person, more than just yourself. And the Ten of Pentacles is not a card that's by themselves either. There's kids involved, there's children, there's family, you know, there's dogs here. Look at the old man. He's looking at his generation growing before his very eyes. It's like, yeah, you're in a good place. You're in a solid spot. But there's more to come. And it may, you know, don't delay yourself by denying how you feel about somebody. If this is your one, if this is the person, okay, then you could, I can see the Three of Pentacles being that you're trying to plan on making something, they're saying something or doing something, but don't work so hard or overthink it. Because of where you need to come from most of all is the emotion aspect. Now, in your outcome, you have Justice. So this is possibly marriage here. This is possibly a wedding. You probably asking someone to get married. Ten of Pentacles, Justice. If I had seen the Hierophant, I would have been 100% surely on board that this was a marriage proposal, that you were really looking to marry somebody. Some of you guys could be taking a risk, right? On finding someone that you're in love with, or finding someone that, you know, makes you happy. But Justice in your external, in your outcome rather, really highlights this like need for balance and closure. Closure in the sense of not necessarily closing the chapter or closing a door, but more so like making something even. Balancing those karmic scales. And since this is the number 11, it could be that this is a twin flame. Somebody is a runner in this relationship. And I don't think it's the Queen of Cups that's the runner. It could be the King of Cups. It's himself that's the runner. Now, that could be him, that could be the other person, or it could be you. Either one that feels this, you know, that you feel like you have the strongest, intense feelings for this person. Denying them isn't going to help anything. And the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Swords is talking about a new beginning. So how do you have a new beginning? Like, this is the start of your new beginning. Just accepting how you feel. Let's go and take a look at your Wisdom of the Oracle cards here. Wow. Milk and honey came out, but it fell on the floor. So I'll put one more. You know, I don't want to take that one because it fell on the floor. So I'll shuffle again and see which one comes out. Okay. Observer. Observer. Wow. Milk and honey means to have a taste of prosperity. You know, tasting prosperity. Knowing that you've had a taste of what it is that makes you happy. And now it's like the rest remains. What are you going to do about it? You know, it's interesting, right? What's underneath this deck after I pulled the Observer, you had Treasure Island, which talks about, you know, knowing where the treasure is. You know what makes you happy. You know what your abundance is. You know where to find it, to dig it up, and to truly, you know, invest it, and, you know, do whatever you want to do with it, to have it, and, you know, make it yours, is by following the map, is by following the directions. Law of attraction. But you have to, you know that you have the map to the treasure. Therefore, you have that treasure. You don't have to have that treasure in hand in order to have that treasure. And that's the part of the law of attraction. You just have to know that you have it. Now, observer here in your for your wisdom with the oracle card for this week. It's interesting because it's talking about watching, being very open and very mindful about the situation and circumstances around you. Keep watching from afar. And I feel like you've been doing that already, to be honest with you. You may not have had the Page of Swords in this reading, but the Page of Pentacles is talking about looking very closely at details. Looking very closely at the details, really making sure this is something you want. Now, the Seven of Swords is perhaps either jumping the gun, perhaps what I would think with the connection here, but I don't think that's the case at all. It's very interesting that Observer would come up when the Seven of Swords is crossing. But I feel like that is in a way very contradicting. Be careful that you're not observing to procrastinate. Be careful that it's not procrastinating energy. Because I feel like whatever you're waiting on, whatever you're trying to see, whatever information you're trying to get, that is already available to you because of the Milk and Honey and the Treasure Island card that came up. You have what you need already. What are you looking for further before you take action? Because the Ace of Wands is asking you to go ahead and take action. You know your passions are, go for it. Ace of Swords, clarity and a new beginning, new ideas, new way of thinking, new way of communicating. Go for it. But you have Observer. Don't be so focused on watching things that you end up missing out on opportunities. Know what you want, obviously, because you do. And don't sit there and wait and by looking from far away for so long. I'm going to pull your Whispers of Love here. And it says physical touch is important. See what I'm saying? Another freaking contradictory card. For some of us, nothing is more important than a tender touch. This might include a pat on the back or giving a hug to someone who needs it. Family, see what I'm saying? This is very action oriented and physical oriented. Like, I feel like you guys are trying very hard to make this a reality. Be connected with this person. I don't know if you guys are just settling with this person being someone from the distance. If you've been waiting for them to, if you've been wanting to be with them for some time, I feel like you can make it happen. Book a ticket and, go see them. But physical touch is important, and I feel like you feel that way. That's probably why you don't want to just think about them. You want to work on building something or making something real. Make on a real offer. But again, even that requires action. And the Observer card is action oriented, but this is talking about waiting and seeing. Well, not necessarily waiting and seeing, but just observing, watching people, being observant. You guys are very good at being observant already. You do that on your day-to-day life. But it's about where you're going, what you're doing, why you're going about doing it. And it's the most important. And it has to do with love. It has to do with expansion. It has to do with making plans for the future towards legacy. What's your next commitment? Your commitment to this person.